that her love was an indication of the change of heart that she'd had, the change of heart that she'd had towards God and towards other people, no doubt, as well. And so when Simon the Pharisee saw this, he saw this woman come in to his very proper dinner party, and this woman is doing something that is somewhat scandalous, somewhat crazy. She's weeping so profusely that she's wetting Jesus' feet with her tears, and she kneels down and wipes them with her hair, and this becomes very significant when you realize that Jesus, though he's a guest at this man, and in the Middle East, of this man Simon, and in the Middle East, when you're a guest, you don't just bring the guest in like my friend here, Caleb, has his sandals on, even though it's November. It's been beautiful weather, hasn't it? So they would have sandals on, and they're walking through dirty streets. They're walking through streets where the animals go, and your feet end up being very dirty. And when you come in to eat, you know, the proper thing is to give Caleb some water to wash his feet, right, Caleb? But this man, this very proper man, this very religious man, this very legalistic man, did not give Jesus any water to wash his feet. He just said, "Nah, I'm not doing it." But this woman comes in and she's weeping so profusely that she's washing his feet with her tears. I mean, imagine it. And Simon gave Jesus no kiss. It's customary when you come in the Middle East, you would give your guests a kiss. You would show them respect. But Simon said no. Even though Jesus was known to be a prophet at this time, Jesus was doing amazing miracles. Jesus had raised a young man from the dead not long before this incident happened in Luke chapter 7. But Simon was like, "Hey, I'm on the fence with you. I'm not going to even give you common courtesy because I'm not too sure about you." But in comes this woman, and she presses the issue of Simon's attitude. It says, when the Pharisee who had invited him saw this, he said to himself, when he saw the woman weeping and washing Jesus' feet, he said to himself, "If this man were a prophet, he would know what kind of woman this is," right? He would know. I mean, if he's really a prophet, if this man were a prophet, he would know what sort of woman this is who's touching him, for she is a sinner. And of course, she's not just a regular run-of-the-mill sinner. She's a notorious sinner. I mean, she's a sinner that's, you know, up there among sinners. And so he said, if he really were a prophet, he would know. But Jesus answering, and now this is just something that he said to himself. He didn't say it out loud. He was just thinking it in his mind. But Jesus, knowing what he was thinking, answered and said to him, "Simon, I have something to say to you." And he answered, "Say it, teacher." And he said, a certain moneylender had two debtors. So he tells this story of two men who owed money. Two men who had a debt. One was 10 times as big as the other. One was 500 denarii. The other was 50, and they were both significant sums. I mean, the 50 denarii was like 50 days' wages. The denarii was equivalent in that day to a day's wage. So imagine what you make in 50 days. That's what this man owed. But the other owed 10 times that much. He owed 500, so 250 days' wages. Or 500 days' wages. And when it says neither one could pay, Jesus is telling this story to this Pharisee who's having this party and who is extremely upset that the uninvited guest has come in. And the uninvited guest is a notorious woman of the city. But he ends up saying of this woman, she's been forgiven much because she loved much. But he who's been forgiven little, the same loves little. You see, as the story goes, God bless you, man. Turn to Christ and live.
God bless you.
As the story goes, or as the song goes, what the world needs now is love, sweet love. But you know, it's the one thing there's just too little of. But why is there so little love in the world? Well, Jesus' answer to that question is that there's so little recognition of our need for forgiveness. He says, "Who has been forgiven little, the same loves little." So what the world needs now is love, but we don't have more love, according to Jesus in this story, because we are too much like Simon the Pharisee, who cannot see his own sinfulness, but he's very, very adept at seeing other people's sinfulness. So Simon